Hello everybody and welcome back to Leeton. My name's Jace. So something a little bit different today. The video is about jobs I'm just doing over the weekend, but this part of the video, something different. We're working in the flower garden, as I call it, the pretty garden, not the veg plot. So I'll spin the camera around and show you what we're going to do. So when we moved in, there was a fence here. It was all dilapidated. We took it out. And this climbing rose was all intertwined with this tree, and we've given them a bit of a prune as a first go. But we really like this rose, and it's got all different sort of flowers on, and multicoloured flowers as well. So it's all the same one, but you like yellow flower there, pink one there, red one there, and then multicoloured one coming, and it's really pretty when it's out in bloom. And it's obviously a climbing rose. So we've created, well, Julie's created this bed around it, and one there around that rhododendron. That's going to get severely pruned in the autumn so that it grows back equally. Because there was a fence on this side of it, it's sort of flat there. It needs a good prune. And then I don't know if you can make out, there's a square here where the ground sunk, and that's where I dug a big hole and a trench all the way up here, up there, to put these new drains in. There's the stack there, because I put an ensuite in at the top there, so I had to connect the drain through here and into there where there's the original clay drain. So that was about a 5 foot hole there, about 5 foot deep. So because it's sunk and it's full of thistles and that, because where we backfilled it, what we're thinking is we're going to create another bed there, a little round bed or something, and then we're going to build a pergola, very small one, triangular shape, and then the rose can grow over it, and Julie can put some climbing things up the posts of it as well. So we went out yesterday and bought the timber, just 3x3 fence posts, and some 1x4 for the top slats. So that's today's job. Okay, so we've got the lengths cut. A bit difficult because the blade on my saw is, well, a butter knife would be sharper, to be honest. So obviously equilateral triangle, 180 degrees in a triangle, so each cut is 60 degrees, which again a little bit awkward. I had to make a template. Well, basically what I did was I cut an end at 30 degrees to make a non equilateral triangle, and then turn it around with a 60-degree angle to mark the timbers to cut it, because my saw only goes to 45 degrees, and then sort of freehand it on the chop saw. So got that done. So what we're going to do now is get it all screwed together, and then that's the top. So that's it, glued and screwed together, roughly in position. And now I've got to work out how I'm going to fix it to the posts. I think it might just be long screws, and then we'll have to dig the holes, get it set up, get it level, and we'll get the mixer going. So we've put this in position over the beds and marked where we've got to drill, dig the holes. What we're going to do is put these bits of 4x1 on the top as slats, so like this, for the plants to grow across, give it a bit of interest. And I've also marked where I'm going to put my posts. So I'm having an 8-foot post there, an 8-foot post over there, and then there's a 9-foot in that corner because the ground's lower on that side. And we're going to probably bury the posts a foot-ish. So, but to give it a bit of interest, I think we'll have some sort of pattern on the end. Something like that. So I'm going to cut the ends of these like that, and we'll get them screwed on. Okay, so I've put all the slats on the top, screwed on. I've marked and drilled where my posts are going. So that's an 8-foot, that's an 8-foot, and that's a 9-foot, because the 9-foot is going in that lower part of the garden. And I've flipped it upside down so that I can put the posts on. Put a piece of wood there for it to sit on, and a piece of wood there for the post to sit on, and it will sit on the slat there anyway. And then I'm going to put some big screws in to hold the posts on, and then we'll flip it over again, hopefully, and 3 of us will lift a leg each and put it in the holes over there that Julie has already dug. So that's it with the legs on. 8-foot, 8-foot, 9-foot, and we've put these diagonal braces in to support it. So we're going to tip it that way now, and then again, and then try and put it in the holes. Well, that was a long day, guys. I was plastering this morning and then doing this afternoon. So, but it's all in, braced, ready for concreting in the morning. So tonight I'm going to sit by the fire, burn some scrap wood that we got, and just relax and get on with some gardening tomorrow. Does anybody else do this? Go out on a night and check the plants? Bit harder, I understand, if you've got an allotment and some distance to travel, but I'm actually just looking for slugs. That's what I'm actually doing. Snow at this time of year? That can't be right. It's not snow, guys. It's the blossom off the hawthorn. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. But it gets everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So I'm being quiet because it's quite early in the morning. But look, it looks like I've put fertiliser or something on the compost, but it's just hawthorn blossom. Good morning, chaps. How was your first night out? Your first night out in the big bad world. Looks like you've all survived. So these are the cucumbers, and they've been in and out of the garden room, out in the day, in at night, and we've had quite a few cucumbers off them. And there's one there ready. There's quite a few come in here and there. So they really need potting on. As you can see, the roots are now starting to appear at the top. I'm sure if we were to have a look underneath, yeah, so they really need potting on. Now the problem is, nighttime temperatures last night were perfect. I think it was 12 or 13 degrees was the lowest it got. But tonight we're down to 9, tomorrow we're down to 8. And they're forecasting sort of the middle of next week at something like 6 degrees. Now whether that actually happens, they keep doing it and then they keep revising it and it's like 8 or 9 degrees. But the reality is these really want 10 or more minimum. So they're getting a bit big now to be taken in and out all the time. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to try and make some space in the greenhouse at the far end of the greenhouse, which is now getting some sun because the sun's so much higher in the year, and sort of hedge my bets. I think I'm going to put some in the greenhouse, I'm going to put, or 2 in the greenhouse. I'm going to put leave 2 that are in clotches. They're up the top and they're in the clotches and they're doing okay, so I'm going to leave those in there. And then I think I'll carry on taking a couple of them in and out and sort of just hedge my bets. So that's the plan. So I've just come in the greenhouse to have a look at my plan. And the plan was to take out this grill and a piece there, put them in bigger pots, plant them on the ground and let them grow up, you know. But I've just noticed we've got a wire along here and we've got a wire along here, and I'm thinking now I could put a pot there where my Swedes are and a pot there and grow them along these wires and just hope for the best. I mean, what's the time now? It's about 10:30 in the morning. It's not a particularly sunny day today, a bit overcast, but it is, the sunlight is getting in here. So the problem is this greenhouse is north facing. That way is north, that way is south, and it's behind a shed. So until the sun gets quite high in the sky at this time of year, it doesn't get a lot of sun. This is going to get moved. It's going to get moved and it's going to go up on the top plot once I've finished building walls and leveling the ground and putting some slabs down for it. Then it'll be red hot. I think that's the plan. I think for now I'm going to pot 2 of them on and train them along those wires. Okay, so somehow I've got to get this out of here into the pot without breaking it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that is definitely in need of potting on. I think what I'm going to do first actually is tie it up and then put the compost around it. You can see that these leaves, it's just in need of nutrition. It's just run out of energy. I think there is a bit of dieback as well because the leaves towards the top are much healthier and stronger. So I've got a couple of bits of string there holding it on. I think here I'm just going to start to wrap it around this wire. It's a bit softer at that end, the stem's not quite so thick, and as long as it stays warm enough in here, that'll do well there. Take that leaf off as well. And with such a big pot, hopefully well, this will be it won't get potted on again, but hopefully it will retain a bit more moisture, because that's the other problem I've had in these small pots and big plants growing cucumbers and fruit. They've just been drying out so quick. Potatoes, I've been watering them massively in the last few days. Right, I'm going to go get some more compost. I'm going to get this one done, and I'll see you for the next job. So in the end, I decided to grow one along there, and then one in the middle, and I've put a string line across the top here. And all we're going to have to do is on the cold nights, we've got some old carpet underlay, because this window with the automatic opener, we had a gale a year or so ago and it smashed the glass. So because we're going to move the greenhouse, we're not going to worry about repairing it in situ here. We're going to take it all apart, move it, and then get whatever we need to fix it up. So I'll probably chuck a piece of carpet underlay or something over there on a night, just to keep the heat in. So I've got 3 more cucumbers to sort out now. Julie's working on a pergola, and we're going to concrete that in a minute. So I've got this one to do. I'm going to harvest that one, I think. I'm going to put this into a bigger pot. I've got 2 up in the clutches that I'm going to put in bigger pots, and then I think they can all just live in the greenhouse on canes for now, coming out in the day, going in on a night, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks time I'm going to plant them out in this centre bed and grow them upstream there. Just need these nighttime temperatures to stay a bit warmer, just a few degrees warmer, and they'll be okay. Grew some fantastic cucumbers out here last summer, but obviously we had a red hot summer, so we don't know what the future holds. So that's the cauliflower pricked out and moved on into a module tray. It's so dry, the potting mix. I have watered it from the top, but still not having it, so just watering it from the bottom. Then put a bit more water in that tray. Leave them for a few hours. So next job I've got to do is thin out these parsnips. So I dropped 2 or 3 seeds in each hole that I made, and some places I've had full germination. I think there's 3 there, and in others we've only had 1 come through. So that's why you always over sow your parsnips, because they're not very good at germinating. So all I'm going to do is choose what looks like the healthiest, the strongest plant, and I'm not going to pull it out because that could disturb the root of the one growing next to it. So I'm just going to snip it off with some scissors, and I'll just go across the whole bed and do that. And it's a shame because, like here, there's 3 healthy plants there, but there's only room for 1, so that's what's got to happen. Now I've thinned them out, I'm going to, between the rows of parsnips, I'm going to sow a couple of rows of radishes. Vienna F1, little round radish. In fact, there's a few rows already here. These parsnips, by the way, I started indoors in January in dissolving cardboard pots, and then when they were sort of this size, they were planted out in early Feb probably, with half a plastic pop bottle over the top, and this is the result. So sowing direct, this is the sort of size you're expecting if you're sowing in March time. By starting a couple of months early, this is what you get. And there's the cardboard pot still there. It's rotting down now. But the actual radishes, these radishes, there's one. Lovely radish, not too hot, not too peppery, and really nice. I'll eat that in a minute. So what I'm going to do, I've got my scissors, it's the only tool I've got with me at the moment, so I'm going to use those and just shallow trough. I'll put another one here as well. And the radishes will be grown, pulled and eaten long before these parsnip seedlings get that big. And while you're pottering about in the garden like this, you know, I can see here that the soil's actually fairly damp. I've been watering these raised beds the last few nights because it's been so hot, but looking at that, I don't think I'll be watering it again tonight. Bearing in mind that these are parsnips, so their taproot, even on these small ones, is probably already that far down, so I don't think there's any issue with how damp the soil is. And these radish, they'll germinate perfectly fine in that soil. I'm not going to worry about watering them. And all I'm trying to do is drop a seed about every 2 inches, if 2 drop, or even 3. I'm not worried. It's just a way of getting another crop out the same piece of ground. There we are. And I'll just cover those over. And I won't sow any more radish here until these come up, and then I know where I've got to. So this is the carrots, and I've been successively sowing rows of carrots since probably the beginning of April, and the first few rows I covered over with some black polythene until they germinated, just to keep the soil a bit warmer. But after that, I'm just sowing them and leaving them to do their thing. So this is the last row that I put in, and they're coming up now. Probably sown a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to do another, probably fill this bed now, put in another 3 or 4 rows, and I'm going to sow early Nantes. I've always had good success with those, and that's what these are here. Some of these, I think it's these 2 rows, are a different carrot. It's a white carrot. I can't remember the name of it, but we're trying them this year just for a change, see if they're any good, and if they are, then I'll sow a lot more of them next year. So I need to move these tomatoes, and it just makes me think of Steve from Green Side Up, because these are all side shoots that I've taken and put in some compost and kept damp, and they're growing into a new plant. And that's a trick that I learned on Steve's channel. In fact, I think it might have even been on the Pottymouth Garden Club when he was talking about it. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how things remind you. Okay, so we can go over there for a minute. Move those. Pull out the odd weed, and then about 4 inches from the last row, and I won't water these straight away. I'll do it tonight when I water everything else. Nothing's going to happen to them if they don't get watered for a few hours. Yeah, I'm back at the garden centre. Can you believe it? So we're sitting at about 23.5 degrees today in the shade, which is nice. Thank you everybody as well that said I should move the thermometer into the shade, not the sun. Not something I really thought about, but the sky for the last few hours has started to sort of turn a bit stormy, and that would not be a bad thing. If we had a few hours of rain, it would certainly help the lawn, the things that we're not watering obviously. I think I'm gonna have a cup of tea now after spending all that money. I mean, I bought these new pots, £7 each, can you believe that? Nice terracotta pots. Going to be great for putting my chilies in. I bought some purple sprouting broccoli, and I bought 3 bags of farmyard manure, which I'm going to mix with like make a potting mix for the peppers at some point, not today, but I think the next job's going to be harvesting some rhubarb, because it's there, we need to eat it. We've got lots of new growth coming in the middle of both plants now, so I'm going to take the outer stems. We'll have a nice rhubarb crumble, probably freeze some as well, and then I'm going to put half a bag of this manure around each plant to give it some encouragement for the summer. And while I've got the ground more exposed, give it a good weed. I can see there's a bramble coming through there. There we go, a nice little bucket of rhubarb. Needs a good wash and cut the ends off, and then we'll chop it up and freeze it. And plenty of new feed around the plants, left on the new shoots or the newer shoots. And I'll let the rain wash it in. I'll water it in as well. And you know, all this here is since January, February, something like that. All of these stalks. So by the end of the summer, these plants should be pretty big, and we'll have a lot to harvest. The next job I need to do is just trim this elder back a bit, because every time we have a fire it's a bit close, and I don't want anything like that of it. So as long as this chair holds my weight, we'll be alright. So I'm just comparing these Charlottes here, which were planted a month before the main crop, and the main crop are bigger, if not the same. And also this one is starting to flower, but none of the others are. So is it possible for a potato to bolt? I don't know. And what's holding, in my opinion, they look like they've been held back. I mean, they in the pots were planted probably a month before these were, and I'm thinking it's either water or nutrition. So I've dug a hole over here in an area of the garden that hasn't got anything in it, and it's about the depth that I've put my potatoes, and it's not holding together. I'd say it's a little bit dry. We're in our second week, or third week now, tomorrow, of no rain. I think I'm going to have to start watering the potatoes in the ground as well. Right, that's a job I've got to do. I'm doing it again, guys. I'm just checking the celeriac. If you watch the video on celeriac, you'll know that I planted 9 celeriac, and the odd one out on the end. Look at that, and there's the culprit. This is why you need to come out at night and check your veg. It's another cracking day. Really nice. It's been such a nice weekend, to be honest. And the potatoes look like they've perked up already after watering them. I think that was what the problem was. It's just, and that's the thing, guys, you just got to keep an eye on the moisture content in the garden and on the plot. You know, it's it's been hot for 2 weeks really, no rain, so yeah, just got to keep an eye on that now. And the cucumbers are looking much better. Just overnight they've been potted on and already they're greening up again. Tomatoes seem to survive the night over there. Hot today, guys, really hot. Just check the thermometer, it's 22 degrees in the shade, so that's where I'm trying to spend my time, in the shade. But there isn't a lot of shade up this end near the compost bays. Because of the hedge we get shade, but a bit later in the year, another week or so, and the sun will be high enough in the sky. Even this will be in the sun as well. But when I was at the garden centre yesterday, I got myself some geraniums just to brighten the place up. £3.75 for 6, and they're very healthy looking plants. They're Bullseye Mix F1. So I found 3 pots that I'm going to put them in, and then I think the other 3 I'll just put in the ground somewhere. And it brightens the place up, it attracts insects and pollinators when they flower, so, and I quite like the look of them. We'll be getting through this compost. God, I think we must have bought probably 50 bags now. And when I went for some the other day, the guy said it is selling like hotcakes. They've sold, I think it was 5 pallets just the other day, and there's 75 bags on a pallet. And I asked him what price he could do if we were to buy a pallet next year. And normally they're £4.75, and if you buy a pallet you get them for £4.15, I think it is, a bag. It's a lot of money, but just get a pallet delivered and that's it for the season then, isn't it? Plus all the compost we've made ourselves, so I might do that next year. That's if this compost's available next year, of course. See how easily these come out. I have to say, this garden centre that we go to, Oak Gate Garden Centre near Elladine in Shropshire, fantastic, really well priced, very healthy stock, helpful staff, you know, really good. So if you're in the area, pop in, have a look. I've got no affiliation with them, you know, I'm just, if I think something's good, I'll recommend it. So that's this structure finished, apart from I need to put some, again, get a bit more of this 3x3, put some diagonals in just to brace it, and that's it done. Julie can give it a paint then. I think we're going to go the same sort of colour as that trellis over there, and then we just need the rows to grow a little bit more, and we can start fixing it onto the top, and then that can cover the top. That'll get pruned, rhododendron, and that can bush out around the post. And Julie's already been planting things, made her bed. She's got a rose there by the looks of it. So happy days. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.